Glenn, championship game of the desert in Arctic conditions. Is this the Duel in the Desert championship game? Is it? Can you look at it that way or no?
I guess you could. It's early in the year. It's kind of similar to our men almost getting to play Marquette. Being in the same tournament out in California, and we were in the same tournament with DePaul out in Vegas, but we couldn't watch them. But they're a talented team. Offensively, they're almost 85 points a game. They can really spread you out and score it at all. They have 5 in double figures, and so it'll be a challenge for us and a great early season opportunity, especially at home.
Is this? That's all right. Your monitor should be right by your cheek. Is it not? Oh, maybe it's a little different. Is this a measuring stick? See where your eyes are at? I mean, it's weird to have 2 of the top teams meet in week 2 or whatever.
Yeah, I definitely think it's a measuring stick, and especially, we've played better lately. I feel like we've, not necessarily turned the corner and figured everything out, but I feel like we're a better, more consistent team than we were a month ago, and that's good, and have had 2 tough wins. I mean, I think the thing that we're going to find out in our league is that there's nothing that's going to be easy. I know everybody says that, but it's, just looking at the league scores, I mean, everything's close, and we're going to have a lot of really competitive games. But there's a reason DePaul was picked to win it. They've got a lot back, and they've been to the NCAAs 11 years in a row, so they've had a really quality and a consistent program, and they do a good job and have a good following. So, it's a good opportunity, and being at home, it's one that we really probably need more than they do.
Did you say 85 points a game they score?
Yeah, they score 85. They've been under. I think their lowest output of the season was 73, and they've been over 90. They've been over 94 4 times already. So they run up and down. I mean, and they press, and it's high possession games. I mean, but they're really tough to guard. I mean, offensively they can score, and but they're small, and so they kind of remind me of some of the teams that we had 10 years ago where we pressed a lot, but we gave up some easy baskets to trade for the pace of the game, and that's kind of the way they are.
I want to ask you about Jordan and her unique shooting ability. When you first saw her shoot, what did you think?
Well, the first time I saw her shoot was on film, and I'm like, well, the film must be, there must be something wrong with the film, because it's definitely not orthodox, but, I watched some of the other things she did, and my assistant coach, Steve Huber, kind of is the one who kind of, was the recruiting lead on her, and, her club coach said great things about her, and just, she's a tough kid. Her brother played college basketball, so she's, she's, and having watched her in a high school game, on a high school court, I mean, she could shoot the ball from almost half court on one of those 84-foot courts, and so you're like, but her range is ridiculous. But it's not the way you'd necessarily teach somebody, but it's worked for her.
Yeah, I was gonna say. All right, let's talk about how big of a deal this is. DePaul, 1, 2, and basically the 2 conference contenders going at each other.
Yeah, it's weird too because it's so early in the season. So normally you think of like the conference showdowns towards the end, but this is a huge game for us. Especially they're really good at home, and so I think it's important for us to kind of get this one on our home court. And
Sure.
So I think it's really important just to understand the importance of this game, because sometimes you think like, beginning of the conference, like it's okay, to drop one here or there, but it's really not. Like we got to be on top of our game, and we really want to get this one. So
measuring stick game, see where you're at. Another one of those milestone games, I'm guessing.
Yeah, it kind of is. They're the best in the conference. Like watching them on film, you can just see that they're good all around at every position, and I think it'll be really good for us, if we win this one, to see that we are doing a good job, but at the same time, just knowing that there's always room to improve, and we have to play them again. You're going to see them again, and possibly even again in the conference tournament. So it's one of those things where you just kind of have to figure it out and like getting to know the players almost in a way. So
what are you guys still working on doing better? I know rebounding is an emphasis, but is that the one key stat that, hey, we've got to get better at blank?
I think rebounding always is important, just because we struggle on the glass, just because we're undersized at a lot of positions. I'd say too, defending the dribble. I think we struggle a little bit at that sometimes, but there's always room for improvement, I think, in almost every area. Sometimes we don't shoot very well, as we've proven, and I think it's just one thing that we just almost need to get better at everything. So
Have you noticed any difference between the conferences yet, or are we too early to start going the differences between blah 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 and the Valley?
I don't know. I think I might be a bad person to ask because I think that when you get into conference, you're like, oh, I remember her. Like, she goes right all the time. It's one of those things. I've seen this girl 3 years. She's my age versus now it's just one big non-conference schedule almost. And I think it's something it's just going to take getting used to. I think in a couple years it'll be like just the normal everyday thing. Like by the time Marissa's a senior, she's going to be like, oh, I remember her. Like, she's my age. Like, she likes to go left. She's really great. So I think it's just a fun thing for almost everyone in the conference because it's a lot of unknown and like everyone kind of gets a chance to step up.
So you guys won your bracket in that desert thing. They won. This is kind of championship game. Did you look at it that way?
Yeah, I guess you could look at it that way, except this is not the desert. It's like an Arctic desert if you look at it that way. But yeah, I mean, it's always a good thing. They're a really great team. Only lost like Notre Dame, Kentucky, like top teams, and so I think it's a really good game for us, and we're looking forward to it.
Have you seen much of them? I mean, do you know much about them before, like even before this year? You don't watch.
No, honestly, before this, I really didn't. At the Big East Media Day, we saw them kind of like walking around, and they had the Big East preseason player of the year, and so it was one of those things like, oh man, like these guys are probably really, really good. So we didn't know that much though, and like looking at Scout, you can tell that they definitely are living up to the number one spot they got picked. They're a really good team, and we're looking forward to playing them. So.
You look great.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. All right, well, let's just talk a little bit about where you guys are at starting off the Big East season. You guys have to be pretty happy with where you're sitting right now?
Yeah, we're really excited. We had a lot of things we needed to work on coming out of non-conference, and I feel like we're making strides towards where we need to be, and I think we're all really excited about that.
What would be the biggest point of emphasis in terms of improvement from now until the end of the season? Where do you have to get better at?
I think rebounding and low turnover team. We always have to be a low turnover team. Like Flan has always talked about, we don't really have a lot of room for error, so we need to minimize our errors as much as we can.
We're getting into the part of the schedule where you're kind of getting into the flow of the conference schedule. Are you already noticing the difference? Because the Valley, the schedule is boom, boom, and here you've got a lot of lag time between games. Is that helpful?
I guess we'll see. I mean, we just kind of started out, but I don't know. I think we're all really excited. I mean, it's nice to kind of have a change from the Missouri Valley, different arenas, different field, different towns. I don't know. We're really excited about it. I think it's a good thing.
How big is this one against DePaul? I mean, they're preseason pick. You guys are supposed to be right up there. How big of a game is this?
It's a huge game, actually. I mean, especially coming in, having the chance to go 3-0, I think it's a great opportunity for us. And it's nice because we don't so much have as big of a target on our back, but that being said, we're ready to fight and battle it out and try to get a target on our back, so it's a good opportunity.
Do you think you guys are still under the radar a little bit?
Maybe a little bit, yeah. I mean, because I wouldn't say that our non-conference schedule went exactly how we planned it to be, but I think we've got a good start in the Big East right now, and if we keep doing what we're doing, maybe we won't be under the radar much longer.
All right, let me ask you this. I've noticed how you shoot. Describe how you shoot. How would you describe it to somebody who's never seen it before?
Different than probably anything you've ever seen. I don't know, it's just, I mean, it's something I've done since I was little. My dad and my mom and brother, actually all of them have been, I don't know, really helpful. And when I have shooting slumps or when people maybe make comments about it, they just like, you know what, it's always worked for you, keep doing what you're doing. And so I just listen to them and stay positive and just take it as a good thing, I guess.
How did you learn how to shoot that way?
I don't know, I guess maybe because I was small and I don't know, I always had to, I kind of dipped a little bit, tried to get the ball at the basket, and I always shot outside. And I don't know, it just kind of happened when I was young and it never really changed.
Have people tried to change your shooting?
Some people that don't know me very well have kind of tried to, but like my AU coach and my parents and high school coach, they're always like, you know what, it works for you, we're not going to mess with it. So they've let it stay the same, and they're like, you know what, just go with it if it works. So.
Do you push with both hands then? Or is it mostly you're righty, right?
Yeah, I'm right-handed.
So do you push mostly with right? I mean, I've seen it. It's pretty impressive.
I don't know, like a lot of people looking at it, it looks two-handed, but I think if you really broke it down, I kind of get to a point where both of my elbows are out, but if you watch the beginning and then the actual release, I think you'd see that it is actually one-handed. There's just a little part in there that looks awkward.
Does anybody ever say anything when you, like as you're doing it, like opposing players to try to get in your head or anything like that?
Yeah, there was this summer, I played in a summer league at the courts and down in Springfield, and this girl was like, man, your shot's ugly. Like right after I hit one, I'm like, okay, well, I'm just not going to say anything. I just turned around and then came back and shot it the next trip again. So I was like, whatever. If it goes in, you can say what you want.
If it keeps going in, who cares, right?
Otherwise, I'm just going to ignore it, yeah.
That's great. Thanks so much. Hey,
Thank
nice talking to you.
You too, thank you.